Welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Welcome, everyone. You're listening to Big Blend Radio's special Vacation Station World Travel Party with Nancy Reed and Lisa Smith, the crazy mother-daughter travel team and publishers of the digital interactive Big Blend Radio and TV magazine, as well as Parks and Travel magazine. You can see both publications that cover travel, food, wine, all the good stuff in life. Just go to bigblendmagazines.com. And Nancy, we have two special guests joining us today.
I know.
It's party time. I know. First off, we've got Dr. Jackie-Eubany. She's a regular here on Big Blend Radio and also writes health-related tips, especially for heart health, since she's a cardiologist in Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. You can see her articles and listen to her interviews. Just go to blendradioandtv.com. Dr. Jackie, as I was saying, is a board-certified cardiologist, and my favorite word, she is an electrophysiologist, and she's the author of Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story. You can get on Amazon, all those great places, but also just go to her website, which is womenandheartdiseasebook.com. Dr. Jackie, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for inviting me. I'm always happy to be here.
You know what? We're always happy to have you on the show. I don't know a doctor that's this much fun and who travels around the world and dives with great white sharks. I know. But I heard a little birdie told me that you are going to be on the doctor show sometime this year.
Yes, that's true. I think I'm not sure when it's going to air, but yes, I will be on the doctor show.
Very cool. Now,
that's awesome.
That's part of the good travels right there. But where was the last destination you were in? Was it Mexico or France?
It was France. The first week in June, I went to France, so that was a lot of fun.
And I know that cheese and wine is part of like the life of France. And as a cardiologist, how did you enjoy your cheese and wine?
I try to just eat it in moderation. They eat cheese and wine every day with every single meal. I balance that out with walking and, exploring the town. So it was good.
Even with breakfast?
Yes. Oh. Even with breakfast. Yes. Especially continental.
I'm moving right now.
Breakfast. You were served a baguette with cheese for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, wow. I hope people eat a lot of greens. I'm just saying.
I don't remember noticing greens on the menu, but
well, if you have enough wine, I think it's a good balance. I'm just saying.
That's
I know that 5 ounces of wine, like, does that increase when you travel? Because you always tell
no,
everyone 5 ounces a day is all us ladies are allowed to have for our heart health.
5 ounces is all you're allowed. Absolutely. Yes, I try to stick to it as best I can. But of course, you have days where you have a little bit more, but that's okay. You make it up the next day by, doing a little extra exercising, and that always balances out.
Oh, cool. Okay. So, all right.
Okay. So if I add a few more jumping jacks,
yeah,
I can have a little bit more wine
or a little bit less, that next day.
There you go. Right. Exactly.
I want to bring our next guest on, Deirdre Michalski. She is the publisher of tastesandtravel.com. She's a freelance writer. She's based in Southern California, and she specializes in world travel, epic bucket list trips, cuisine and cooking, chef interviews, and lifestyle stories. She's also a member of the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association, who we love. We do a second Friday food wine travel show here on Big Blend Radio. So every second Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, we chat with different members, travel writers, and find out where they've been around the world. And so we're excited to have Deirdre on because I know that she also likes to visit really old restaurants too. So welcome, Deirdre. How are you?
Well, thank you. Hello, ladies. How are you today?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Now, first thing, France. Have you done the cheese and wine trail like Dr. Jackie has?
Yes, when I am there, I eat a lot of cheese, I have to admit, because it's so good. I mean, everything that is served, it's just too hard to resist. So I drink a little bit more red wine than I do at home, that I somehow in my mind think I'm offsetting what I'm consuming. And I just have a wonderful time. In fact, a few years ago, I did a cooking class in right outside of Rouen, up in the Normandy region, with Susan Herman Loomis. I don't know if you know her, but she's a cookbook writer. And we did a whole week of cooking in her industrial kitchen. And we had so much fun. And she brought in a fromage expert one evening, and he was educating about his goats and about all the things that he made in his dairy farm. It was just great. I learned a lot.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's fascinating, because I love this, when you actually go out and get not just the sense of place, especially in historic regions like France, but the sense of taste when you get to actually meet the farmers and things like that. I think that's really important. But Deirdre, I wanted to touch on your travel writing. So I also know you have a career in PR, marketing, so you do a lot in regards to the hospitality industry. What led you into the world of travel writing?
Well, I actually started in marketing and PR for hotels. And actually, my team had launched the honors program for Hilton 100 years ago. And then I worked for Marriott, and I worked for just a number of different boutique hotels, did some branding work and so on. And my work always led me to a lot of writing, and I love interviewing people. So I started doing some writing just out of the love of it. And then as my husband and I started traveling, and we had a big bucket list, and we've been kind of working our way through it. I just started writing to remember our wonderful trips and match it with photos. And then that just kind of evolved into this new career, which is writing. I've done some writing for the conference and visitor bureaus here in Southern California and some magazines. But right now I'm really focused on my website and just enjoying our trips and writing about them. So it's fun.
Excellent. I saw some of your articles also in the Food, Wine, Travel Food, Wine, Travel magazine. I've got travel writers stuck in my brain when I talk about IFTWA, the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. And I do encourage everyone to go to your website, tasteandtravel.com. It's beautiful. It inspires you, makes you hungry. Where was your last destination, Deirdre?
Oh gosh, our last trip was a cruise that we had done, and it started in Sweden, and we just traveled all over that area and went to St. Petersburg, which was another location that was really on our bucket list. Went to the Hermitage Museum, and we just had so much fun on that trip. It was great. We went to the oldest restaurant in Sweden, right there in Sweden, and whenever I'm traveling, I always try to find, the next spot that we want to visit, because we love history. So we like to try to find the oldest restaurants. And if they're still really good, then we'll go. I'm planning a trip right now for next year, which will be on the Rhine River, and it's going to start in Amsterdam and it will end in Basel, Switzerland. And I'm picking out some of the oldest restaurants along the way. And also some other things. They're going to have electric bikes that we can ride, and we get to do a cooking class. And I love to interview the chefs on board the ships. So I try to make special arrangements, which I have to do way ahead of the trip. But it's a lot of fun if I can get the corporate permission to do so. It's great fun.
It's always hard to get that time with the chef. They're like rock stars, park rangers. Yes. National park rangers to us are like the rock stars of the forest, but it's the same thing, with chefs. And this is what I love about the connection between you and Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie, the last time we chatted with you on your world travels, you were talking about how history is a huge part of your travels. It's not just that cheese and wine.
Yeah, that's correct. In the past, and sometimes I do pick locations based on historical interest in the places. But I really liked. I've done a similar cruise to what Deirdre was talking about, the Baltic Sea. I did a 2-week cruise around the Baltic Sea, and we ended up in St. Petersburg, and that was absolutely beautiful. I was very surprised. I'd never been to Russia before, and I highly recommend going there. And the Hermitage Museum was amazing.
It really is a very special place. So much fun.
Yes, it is. Cruises are a lot of fun.
They are. And last time I was on a cruise, and I had arranged to interview the head executive chef for the ship, and I would see him every day running around at like 5:30. He'd be running from the front of the ship to the back and in and out of the various backdoor places that I'm not supposed to go. And then he said to me one day, okay, I'll meet you at 5 o'clock in the main lobby and we'll do our interview. And then he explained to me, I said, what do you do in the late afternoon? I see you running all over. And he said, every day at 5:30, I go from kitchen to kitchen. And there were I think there were 5 or 6 of them on board. And I bring a spoon and I just taste all different things. And he changes his spoons, of course, but he just takes taste.
He's got like a relay of spoons, like the little buckets. Well, they do.
Yeah.
For the
He said he walks into the kitchen and the chef de cuisine hands him a little glass container of spoons, and he just goes around the kitchen and he tastes whatever he feels like tasting, and he does it early enough in the evening because he wants, if there's anything that is not to his standard, they have to throw it away and completely start over. And so, especially like with sauces and things like that are so important. So that's what he does. And so for an hour, he's just a madman, but he's very focused and he's so sweet. He's just the nicest man. So a lot of fun.
That's cool. I mean, I think that's one of the coolest things about being a travel writer is that we get to go in behind places like scenes, all of our friends. They were like, well, we want to go with you to the national park, which is our big specialty is parks, but we want to go with you because we get to hang out with the ranger and hear all these extra facts. And you can do ranger programs, everyone. You'll get the same things, but it's true. I have a thing about going in the restaurant and being allowed to go through the back door. I love the back doors. I want to know what's going on. I want to walk past where the trash is. I want to see what's going on everything because it's fascinating to see because it's another way of life. And so, Dr. Jackie, being a cardiologist, have you ever had to use your skills when you're traveling and like suddenly rush someone into a hospital or something that you've never been to?
One time, I did have someone, have chest pain on the airplane, but it turned out he was having an anxiety attack. But I thought I would have to do CPR, but it was just, I didn't have to. So thank God for that. And we didn't have to land. It was just, patient was just having a panic attack there. So it's not good. It's not a good feeling being enclosed on a plane and something. And there's a patient emergency. It definitely isn't a good thing. You feel so helpless because there isn't a lot you can do for them on the plane. But anyway, let's continue talking about fun times.
I was just going to say, because there's always that, is there a doctor on board? And you look around, it's like, okay, what's going down? Okay, but this is the thing for people that are world travelers and travelers, just even domestically, if you're an avid traveler, do you think that we should learn CPR and don't we have to keep that up? Because, I mean, I got kicked out of Brownies when I went to school in England for giggling when they taught me CPR. And I'm like, I'm not kissing that. The dummy thing on the floor. And then and then I caused a ruckus, apparently, and you had the giggles, and then they kicked me out of Brownies. I didn't get my brownie patch.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I think it's always a good idea to know CPR because you just never know. Like you could have even if you could be at home when something happens and you need those skills. It's always very important to do that. And in public places, they have defibrillators that are pretty user-friendly. So if anything, just at least bring the defibrillator from the wall or something like that. But having the CPR skills definitely very important.
Okay, now anxiety attacks to jet skiing. Apparently, Deirdre, this is your latest thing. I want to talk about water sports that are getting active out in the world. Jet skiing, we've done some weird water skiing things and things that we probably should not have been hanging on a rope on a boat kind of thing in our past.
Parasailing?
Parasailing we have not done, but I remember in South Africa, a boat speeding around and being like on a surfboard, and then the boat going too fast and in circles. Nancy's blood vessels were all like broken on her legs.
Oh my gosh,
it was terrible.
Wow.
Yeah. But
wow.
there's things that
it was rough.
There's just things we've all kind of done, rafting. But let's talk about water sports. So jet skiing. You just did this, right, Deirdre?
Yes, that was on one of my bucket lists. I don't know why, but I just really wanted to do that. And the next one I want to do is parasailing, which I would love.
Oh, wow.
But jet skiing is so much fun. I did it in Newport Harbor, and I really just expected we were going to tool around the harbor. And the person who was escorting me, he said, "No, come on, we're going to go out into the ocean." I'm thinking, "Oh, really? Do we have to?" But we went out. And oh my gosh, we had so much fun. We were going very fast. I used to ride motorcycles when I was younger, so I was kind of comfortable with the setup, but it feels like a motorcycle. But the waves come in all different directions, so it can kind of send you a little bit sideways when you're not expecting it. You're trying to aim right into the wave, but that doesn't always work. Or a big sailboat goes by and starts, you bobbing up and down, but it was really fun. I definitely would love to do it again.
I remember doing it as a kid. I think during the water skiing, jet skiing days, and I didn't ever. You don't want me to do it, but there is that thing about the motorbike, because like motorcycles, I have fallen off every motorcycle I've been on, and it's got nothing to do with being when it's going. Well, when it leans in, then I start to lean the other way around because I'm like, dude, no way, I'm not going. I don't want to touch the tarmac. But
you have to lean with it. Yeah. You were fighting it is what was happening probably.
Yeah. But when they stop,
lean into the curb.
But it's when they stop that I fall off. That's it. I'm out. It's like they stop. Even bicycles, it's like stop the bicycle and I fall off.
Can I add horseback riding to that as well?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I've done a lot. I fall down. And with
You've
or
fallen
without
off the. Oh my goodness.
It sounds like you have a reputation that precedes you.
I just kind of fall down, Lisa. But Nancy does it. Nancy falls down just walking down the street. All of a sudden she's down.
Oh my goodness.
No, she does it about once a year. Off she goes.
Oh my gosh. I will tell you one trip I did that a water activity that I did not enjoy, sadly, was we were in Costa Rica, and it was a river rafting trip, and the raft was supposed to be on like a level 3 water. It goes from 1 to 5, 5 being scariest. And because they had so much rain, it was like a 4+. And it was the water was moving so fast and the river was so full, and you basically have to, you're not tethered in, you're basically holding on with your legs. And oh my gosh, it was frightening, and it was the only time I actually ever thought, you know what, I could die right here.
I know that feeling, man.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Jackie, I want to know about. I know you've dived with great whites, in South Africa, in that little cage they give you. Here's your little chicken coop, and off you go in the water with sharks. No, I'm just kidding. But have you done any other water activities in your travels?
Yeah, I like jet skiing. So if I have an opportunity to do it on a beach vacation, I always do it. I think it's so much fun getting on the jet ski and just, riding really fast all around the water. Yeah. Parasailing, no, I'm kind of scared of heights. I don't think I could do that. But the banana boat, just the simple things I'll do. But the simple things like diving with the sharks I'll do. But the difficult things like parasailing, no, count me out.
Wow. And diving, have you ever done night diving, Dr. Jackie?
Yes, I've done night diving in the past. Yeah, those are they're fun. You don't see quite as much. I mean, you dive with a flashlight so that you can light it on whatever you want to see. But I definitely prefer diving in the daytime.
Wow. Okay. So now, how many countries are you up to now? I can never keep up with you.
I know. I can't keep track, but it's probably over 60.
Wow.
Yeah, over 60. Yeah, I can't keep track.
How do you decide what country you're going to go to next?
Well, I've just been to so many. It's getting harder and harder to go to a place that I haven't been, because I've been to a lot of these places multiple times. The list is really getting shorter and shorter. So it really just depends. It depends on, I mean, it could be a place that I always wanted to go to, but the time of the year is also important. Let's say my vacation is in, the fall or something. Then we pick whichever country is best to visit during that time. It really depends on the time I have off. It depends on, what's going on around that time of the year.
Deirdre, for you, your travels, your trips, do you go according to bucket lists? And how many countries do you think you've been to now?
I think I've been to about 20 countries, probably about 20 countries. And on my website, I do have a little section just on France, because it doesn't take long knowing me to know that France is probably my favorite. That's my happy place. I'll never forget when my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, took me to France, to Paris for the first time. And we took a taxi to the Eiffel Tower, and I got out of the car and I just started crying. I was so enamored. I was so touched by that experience. It was just like, oh my God, here's this beautiful, beautiful, iconic place that I've been, reading about and looking at pictures of since I was little. So it was really very special. But I do plan a lot of our trips based on bucket list activities, and I'm also getting more conscious of, even though I'm a young 62, I am aware of my age, and I want to try to get as much in as I can. So we actually have done a lot of things that are more strenuous, shall I say, that maybe we wouldn't do when we're older. But and I think probably the most strenuous and the most challenging for me was Machu-Picchu, and the altitude makes it a little bit difficult, and just their transportation is very it changes, month to month based on the rainy season and what's happening with the roads and so forth. So that kind of dictates a lot. I do have an article on my website, how to do Machu Picchu without killing yourself. And that gives you some tips of how don't do it like I did it, like do it this way, and I do try to explain. I've got a great tour guide that we used, and just some little tips and shortcuts of how to do it and have a wonderful time without, our day was like, we did it in one day, and it was a 15-hour day, and, it was just exhausting, but it was so magical to be there. We just had the best time.
Well, I had a friend, she went, this was back in the 90s, late 90s, and her husband went, and she's super fit surfer chick, in Encinitas, California, and this was her dream, was to go to Machu Picchu, and she had she almost didn't make it. Like, she medically, at one point, they thought they were going to take her down. The altitude affected her. And apparently, and Dr. Jackie, you may be able to share some insight on this, but the altitude, she's really fit. The altitude did something to her, and she said that it was the combination of the meat, eating mostly the food, and the altitude. And then, sorry, men, close your ears on this part. It was that time of month, and that everything stopped her. Like, she just had such a hard time, and basically really, really had a hard time. And so they were going to take her down on a stretcher, back down. But eventually she was able to get more hydrated, but she lost hydration. Is that something, Dr. Jackie, that you can comment on? Or, I just never thought of traveling and
well, with high altitudes, there's, there are always oxygenation issues. There's less oxygen, up there. If you have any illness, lung illnesses or even heart illnesses where you're already not getting enough oxygen, on ground, if you go up to those high altitudes, you definitely will have a difficult time breathing. And of course, if, you're losing blood, we all know that blood helps carry oxygen to all of your organ systems. If you're losing a lot of blood, that will definitely make it a lot harder to get oxygen, and can contribute to some altitude illness and sickness.
Oh, wow. She did make it, though. Because she was like determined to do it. But I don't know about climbing Machu Picchu in 15 hours, Deirdre. Would you go back, Deirdre?
Well, we went there and then and toured around Machu Picchu. We didn't hike in. Some people do. They hike in, spend a few days hiking to Machu Picchu and then experiencing the mountain and then going back. But it's like planes, trains, and automobiles, to get there. You're on a train, you're on a bus, you're on a this, it's lots of different transportation options. And it's so funny because on the way back to the main town, it doesn't even drop you off where you picked it up in the beginning. It drops you off at some other remote town, and then everybody has prearranged a ride to then take you back to town. It's just very interesting how it all works, but somehow it does manage to work. But the faster that people can get from the main town where you fly in to Aguas Caliente, which is at the base of the mountain, you're much better off, because right in that area you're only at 8,500 feet, whereas the main town, which is Cusco, I think, that is 11,000.
Wow.
So it's pretty high.
See, now that I think I would have a bit of a problem. Like even now, I'm trying not to cough because we have clouds rolling in, and just having that pressure of the clouds in the sky, I start getting all like weird, asthmatic, whatever. So, but I would still go and do something like this and just be as prepared as possible and try to. I think I'd probably go on a crazy fitness kick to get my body breathing and do more cardio and stuff like that, so I'd be really prepared. And I think that's something important to talk about. I mean, we've got Dr. Jackie on the show, so we've got a doctor who's like, hey, be prepared. But let's talk about also this country. What was the last destination here in America that each of you have been to that totally blew your mind and you went, I didn't know that this was in America? Let's start with you, Dr. Jackie.
A place here in the United States that completely blew my mind.
When was the last time you traveled here? The World Travel Party. We have to cover America. I could give it North America if that helps. North America, so you can put Mexico in or Canada.
No. So I would say a place that I truly enjoy and I go quite a bit is New Orleans. I think New Orleans is so much fun. There's so much history there, so much culture, the music, the food. I mean, I just can't get enough of that place. So I would say New Orleans. Actually, I was just there a few weeks ago, actually.
I'm jealous, right? Nancy and I have a love affair.
Friends.
I could live in Louisiana. I really could.
I know.
And easily.
I know.
Just if someone just said, "Here, I'll pack everything for you," because we just came home.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I'll play with the gators.
I love Louisiana. The food and the people and the music.
Oh my God. Yes. The music, exactly.
Oh, and kayaking with water moccasins and alligators.
Fun.
That's cool too.
Oh my gosh.
Deirdre, for you, where was the last place in America that you
went?
Cool?
Well, back to New Orleans for just a second. I just booked a trip for October, and they have a new festival they're doing at the Motocross Park, and it's whiskey and country music in October. And so I have a band of girlfriends, and we're going to go and enjoy that because the food is just so incredible. I love New Orleans as well.
Yep,
but in terms of where I've been, I think my last trip domestically that I really enjoyed was Seattle, because I love the water and I love going over to Bainbridge Island and exploring. I'd like to do more of the San Juans for sure. But, you know, it is true. My husband and I were just talking about that, how there are so many beautiful places here in the U.S. and we tend to book trips out of the country. But I've got a little list that I've started. I really want to do the Whiskey Trail in Kentucky, and I want to go to Austin and take him to the little German town called Fredericksburg outside of Austin. And I have never been to Savannah and Charleston. I'd love to do a little road trip there. But there's so much to see, really.
Yeah,
we're doing the Bourbon Trail we're going there this fall. We're going to be going through Natchitoches. We try to take historic trails.
Yes.
We're going to do the El Camino Real de los Tejas, which goes really from Mexico, but through Texas up to Natchitoches, Louisiana. And Louisiana, starting this November, we're very excited because we're going to start covering it for 3 years. We're going to be on this project. If you look at Louisiana on the Sabine River, which is what connects it to Texas, that region, all the way from Lake Charles, all the way up to Shreveport, basically, was called no man's land. And this was before the Gadsden Purchase and everything. There was no law. And this is where all the smugglers and the bootleggers and craziness happened. And they're celebrating their 300 years this year. And so they're doing a 3-year celebration in all these communities on the history of no man's land. And I remember going on a boat in Lake Hodges in a little town called Florian, Louisiana. It's in Sabine Parish. And the park ranger's taking us out there, and she starts telling us we're in the middle of no man's land. I mean, you could be pulled over, like someone could just attack you back in the day, and no one's going to do anything for you. It's just too bad.
Wow.
But then you can go around the corner, and there'll be a smuggler with bourbon or whatever moonshine. And we did it. We had our fair, share of experience with the moonshine there, believe it or not. It was fun. In a hotel. Can you believe it? Like the guy that serves the wine time had moonshine in the back of his car and was serving it.
So
it was so much fun.
Oh
but,
my gosh.
We're going to go up Natchez Trace Parkway, which is something I've been wanting to do since we first got back to this country, and go and do the Bourbon Trail. So, Deirdre, I'll be posting pictures and tagging you on social media for that, so that you. Oh,
you're going to have so much fun, and I'll send you some information. They have a great booklet that they'll mail to you from it's not their Conference and Visitor Bureau, but some other group. But I'll send that to you. And my girlfriend just did it, and she told me some of the distilleries that she really, really thought were very much worth it. So I hope you'll have a fabulous time. My favorite one is Angel's Envy. That's my favorite bourbon because it's aged in port barrels.
Ooh.
And it's delicious.
Ooh.
I can't wait. We're going on with an archaeologist. We had him on the show, Bourbon Archaeology.
Nice.
And we're going to go on an archaeological dig looking for old distilleries and stuff.
Oh, fun.
How cool is that?
That sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like fun.
When
are you going?
This is going to be October, November. We're going we're calling it the Hola to Hi Y'all tour. And then we found out it's Hey Y'all halfway through. So, that's what we're doing. So, but Dr. Jackie, is it 5 ounces of bourbon?
No, it's actually, it's 1 ounce actually of hard liquor. That's hard. That's considered hard liquor, right? Yeah, one ounce.
Oh, I can't count. No.
All of a sudden we can't get. All of a sudden you don't know how to count, right?
Now, do you do bourbon tasting, Dr. Jackie? I know you like wine, but.
No, I like wines. Not quite. I don't drink bourbon. No, I mean not bourbon tasting, but I guess if it's in a cocktail, I'll drink it. But
I'm just I'm like, come to the other side, Dr. Jackie. Come on.
I know, right.
Come to the other side. So, where is the next destination for you, Dr. Jackie?
I haven't quite planned. There are a few things on my bucket list still that I'm still trying to, figure out some time to go to. I want to go to the Galapagos Island. I've never been there before. I think that'd be fun. And I actually want to do more traveling in Africa. I know I've been there several times, but I know you said you grew up in Kenya. I've never been to Kenya. I'd like to do a safari. Yeah, Kenya and Tanzania. go see the
And
Great
Botswana.
Migration, you know. Yeah.
Oh, we've
Botswana,
done that. We've done the Great Migration
That's so
a number
much
of
fun.
times. And when you see
That's
the
awesome.
amount of wildebeest, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. The crocodiles are coming out of the water at the babies, and the zebras, and and Kenya is.
It's amazing.
They say it's the oldest point of civilization in the world, and then everybody fights
Really?
over it. So I'm not going to say it's true, but they're very ancient. I'm just not going to get into that drama, but it is so
we
ancient.
weren't there, so we don't know.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The people are amazing, and if you do go, also, they're saying Botswana is at the top of the list right now.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah,
safari,
exactly.
and I want to go. We were there when we were in the Kalahari, but we crossed over into Namibia and Botswana.
Oh yeah, I wanted
say
to.
that we did it. You know,
if you do go to Kenya, there's a place called Mzima Springs where you can see hippos underwater.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds like fun.
Oh, it's amazing how light-footed they are in the water.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
It's like watching a ballet.
You have to go look at our old house when you're there. You have to, go to our house. I want a photo of our house. I'm not kidding. I'm not either. And you have to go where Nancy worked with Joy Adamson out in Samburu. You need to go out there and see Joy Adamson's camp. Yeah. So we'll send you a list. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. So I'm glad Africa's on your radar. Deirdre, have you been to Africa? On my radar.
I'm sorry?
Have you been to Africa?
I have not. I have not been there yet. I actually just had my second guest blogger on my website, and he had done a fabulous trip in Africa, and I figured since I have not been there, I should post this. So it was really interesting, and he talked all about the 5 key game that you want to see when you're in Africa and places.
The big 5, yeah.
The big 5, exactly. Yeah. see, what do I know about Africa? But it sounds so enchanting. I hope someday we can do that.
Well, I think South Africa for you would be awesome because I know you're into the culinary side. And just even thinking of South Africa makes me extremely hungry.
Me too.
I know, right, Dr. Jackie, right? The wine trail in Stellenbosch in that area.
Oh, yeah. And French folk.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You must go to
South
Africa.
Beautiful.
We're putting you on a plane right now.
Yes, it sounds wonderful. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. So, where's your next destination?
Well, our next destination is probably the Rhine trip that we're going to do next May, and that starts in Amsterdam and will end in Basel, Switzerland. So we'll go through a lot of German towns, and my husband is German, so we'll be enjoying some places that he can practice his German. I don't speak a lick of it, but luckily for me, many of the people, I look for people that are under 40, and they all seem to be able to speak English and help me along the way. But so that'll be a fun trip. So we've already started researching each of the towns. I'm working on Cologne right now, and what are all the things we should see while we're there. And this is a river cruise, which I really enjoy, both ocean and river. But what I really love about river cruises is that when you reach the port, you walk off the gangplank and you are right in town. And I just love that. And it's just one charming town after another. So we always have a good time, but it's pretty low key, very, very restful experience for sure.
I like that. The thing to me is walking everywhere, and you get to smell the place.
Yeah.
People, the food, just what's going on in the city, whether it's, an ew or a good positive smell. It's, there's something about it, like using all your senses when you're in a destination. And I think when you have your feet on the ground, you really get to experience that. I know I have to do a shout out to our 1 hour walk group, on Facebook, and we're always, avidly trying to get people to go out and take a walk, wherever they travel or even their neighborhood. I know Dr. Jackie, you say we need 150 minutes of good walking A week.
A week, yes. Minimum, yes.
Minimum.
Absolutely. It's so important. And when I go to these small towns, what I love is I get into the town early and I enjoy watching the town wake up and seeing people, the shopkeepers are sweeping the front walkway and, you can smell the breads and just things are happening. But if sometimes later in the day when it's filled with tourists, you miss some of those charming moments.
Yeah, I'm like the person who likes to be at the end of closing of the restaurant too, because then you get to have a cocktail with the bartender or the chef or the musician.
That's a good idea. That is a good idea.
And often I'm good at closing those places. Don't tell Dr. Jackie. but I'm like that with you. Nancy and I've done a lot of touring, and we are really, a lot of people don't want to travel with us because we're like, okay, let's get up at 3 and go on a game drive. We're like, we're crazy. And we will have that extra glass of wine at the end of the day, and everybody else is like, we're too tired. I'm like, well, we will wear ourselves thin on the road because it's just so much fun. And I don't want to go to sleep.
You don't want to miss anything. And that's what's so fun.
Exactly.
And then you get the good stories, because if you close the pub or the bar, you at least have some good stories for the next day to tell everyone else what they missed.
The local
gossip. That's true.
Yeah, you want the local gossip. When Nancy took tours to Kenya, just talking about closing a bar. We didn't close it. You got all of the ladies got searched.
Oh, and there was a raid.
What?
Oh my God.
There was a raid. The police.
What do you mean? Oh my goodness.
The police come running in. This was in Kenya at the New Florida Club.
When she had to pretend that she'd been there before.
And and that's on my first tour, and I had to pretend that I'd actually been there before, which that's up to the company that sent me. And so, it's just one of those things. You're going to a place you've never been before, but you're the guide, and I didn't know anything about police raids. And they were raiding the club for prostitutes, and so all these police came in, and they had their little billy clubs, and there was whistling, and they lined all the women up against the wall, and that included the people who are on the tour with me, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, well, it wasn't like this last year.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
And so they search you, they pat you down. But this is so many years ago. I'm pretty sure they probably don't do that anymore. But
what were they actually looking for? What would be the tip off?
It was a prostitute, but weren't they?
The prostitutes. This is what they were there. And the funniest part of the whole thing was that they jumped into the swimming pool, and I still to this day did not understand.
Oh my gosh!
They all jumped in the pool.
How funny!
I don't know what that was about.
But all the ladies went from being mad at Nancy to
they saying that the most fun they ever had.
That they loved it. but people were walking around on stilts. That was
great. That's the other thing. This guy was on stilts, dressed as a woman, and doing like a shimmy. And the cops are running around, and prostitutes are jumping in the pool. It was great.
That sounds like Ensenada back in the day.
How funny.
It was like, just like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to know from each of you, Deirdre and Dr. Jackie, crazy experiences that happen that, you sometimes they're negative, but then later you're like, man, that's a good story. Because travel, if things go perfectly well, then I don't know, sometimes we just don't learn as much. So let's start with you, Dr. Jackie. Any craziness occurred?
I know. I'm trying to think of any experience. Nothing that comes to mind that stands out as being just a crazy. I can't think of anything right now. I can't think.
Travel with Nancy as
yeah, I know. And go to prostitute rings. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust me. We've managed to get ourselves into places. But what about you, Deirdre? Any craziness?
Well, really not a lot of craziness. I'm pretty tame. I don't I'm back to the hotel at a pretty decent hour and just want to keep it safe. One time, my husband and I were in Paris for New Year's Eve. He surprised me for a New Year's Eve trip. It was so fun. And so we were having dinner right off the Champs-Élysées, and we went down there early. As he remembered, they actually serve champagne on the side of the street. Well, note to self, they don't do that anymore. So we went to a bar and had some drinks and champagne, and then we were walking to dinner, and we were going to stay out till midnight and just be right there in that area. But as we looked down each side street, I saw all of these police officers with the paddy wagons, and they were gearing up for a pretty wild New Year's Eve. This is probably about 4 years ago. Oh. And I just looked to the left, looked to the right, and first of all, the police officers are so gorgeous, and they are so fit. I mean, they're not like in some other countries. They're just amazing. And so I'm looking down these streets, and I just turned to my husband. I said, you know what? After dinner, I would like to just get a cab and go back to the hotel. We can celebrate there, but I just don't want to be out in this. And then we were watching it on TV, and you know, there was just all kinds of mayhem. So I was really glad that we just got back and played it safe.
You know what? It's smart to be like that, because especially when it's not your neighborhood or a place you know real well. And
right.
Like me, I wouldn't know what anybody's saying in France, you know. But I ended up in Graaff-Reinet, South Africa. This was during the change of what was happening in South Africa at the time. This was in the early 90s. And we were there on a media trip, and you know, in appointments all day. And Nancy was on one side of the town, and I was with a sales rep for her magazine over there on the other side of town. And we went to meet, and we ended up in the middle of a riot.
And, oh my God!
And all you do is you just get in it and
walk
walk with them, man,
until you cross the street.
But we did. We all managed to get through it. And then went out to dinner, and then she told somebody that I was the quarters champion. Anyway, that wasn't. But, and I did, and I ended up having to compete against some guy and to do it, and we won. But anyway, so they.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
But it was it's a crazy thing how things can happen, and you have to be so aware and not freak out.
Exactly.
That's the thing, I think, where you know you're in a different country. It's like you have to, you know, while you're enjoying yourself, also have your guard up. You know,
be aware of your environment.
Yeah, and don't panic.
Yeah. So, I was going to say, when I was just in France in June, I stayed at a hotel off the Champs-Élysées, and I can't remember what festival they were having, a musical festival or something. This was like a week or so before the tennis game or whatever, and everyone was coming to the Champs-Élysées, but they had it blocked off, and they were searching bags.
Yep.
And I used to travel a lot to Europe back in the day, and I don't remember when we started doing this. And it's kind of sad that we have all these terrorism going on now, that this is what it's come to. That you can't even walk up and down the streets of Champs-Élysées when there's a festival going on without being searched. It was kind of a sad reality of our lives now, compared to the way it used to be before, where it wasn't a problem. But yeah, I mean, Europe has just become, a place where there's, so much security now. There's just all the stuff going on, and sometimes it's kind of sad to think about, but
it's kind of scary too. Like when you're on, like at the train stations, and you just see people from all walks of life, and when you stop and sit down and just watch them all parading past, it can be kind of frightening sometimes. You just have to be so aware. And some people, when they're traveling, they're so busy looking at all the beautiful things around them, that they really are not paying attention.
That's when things happen, and you just cannot look scared. You have to blend in as best you can. You can't look scared, because then you're, then you become prey, whatever.
Right.
It is,
right. And be prepared. Like have everything set up ahead of time so you're not that victim.
Exactly. That's a good thing. So, okay. So when you ladies travel overseas, how much luggage do you take? Let's start with you, Deirdre. I mean, you're taking spoons for all her tastings. No.
I think that's really a mean question to ask someone, though. Well, let me just say I've grown up a lot since I first started traveling because I carried this big old suitcase, and my husband hurt his back trying to just get it in and out of the train, the Nice. Oh my gosh. But I have really matured, and now, it's fun when you don't care anymore. You just say, I'm just going to do this. And so what I do is I pack for 7 days, and that's all I do. No matter what I'm doing, no matter where I'm going, except like we went to Park City skiing, that doesn't count because we had to have a whole suitcase just for warm weather skiing clothes. But
clothing, yeah.
But normally I use those little cubes, and I pack for 7 days a few outfits and my Dob kit and very little makeup. And I don't even bring very much jewelry, just a few costume pieces. And I just accessorize with scarves and lightweight scarves and that kind of thing. So I really do pack pretty light, and I have a little spinner suitcase that I like because I can walk next to it. I'm not dragging, the suitcase. Mm-hmm. And then I have a very small little bag for carry-on and a couple of magazines and so forth. And that's about it. So I
like that.
I've matured to become a better packer, and my husband is very thankful for that because in a lot of places there are not porters to help you, and you're on your own,
Mm-hmm. And some of the places, I mean, if you're in a historic place, there's no elevator sometimes.
There's no elevator, exactly.
Yeah, and
right.
You're taking stuff upstairs, and it's like suddenly you're in this teeny room. There's like the more historic places you get, you either have the big lavish, la-di-da castle thing, or here you are, here's your little tiny room, and your chain, toilet kind of deal. And if you you can't even walk in there.
Well, we were on a train going from Italy to France, and right along the coast, and of course France had a strike, so we had to, at the border, everybody had to get off the train and then go into the train station and then get on a separate train. It was the craziest thing, and that was the first time I had ever had a man, a police officer, with a machine gun right in front of me, and the dogs and everything. It was just like so scary. I started crying, but you had to go down.
You haven't been
stairs.
to Mexico.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely. I don't do that anymore. But so I had to go down the stairs, across, and then up with that heavy suitcase I was telling you about, which I don't do anymore. But my husband was just walking ahead. Thank you, honey. And so this adorable, sweet, probably a football player, was walking next to me carrying his little tiny bag. He looked over, he said, "Ma'am, do you need help?" I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much." He carried it up like it was a little feather. And he just boop, boop, boop. And I got up there and I looked at my husband. My husband says, "Who's him? Who's he?" I said, "He's the person that's helping me." Oh, I was so grateful.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I remember, I've learned not to have nails, which I cut off anyway. I'm not a manicure kind of person because of what I do. Like I'll get in the dirt and I'll do stupid things to get photos and what have you.
Yeah.
And fingernails and me never get along because I will break them. I will something bad. And I learned, I think it was when we came over from South Africa back to we were going from England to the States, and there was a layover, and suddenly the times changed on our airplane. And all of a sudden, we had like 5 minutes to get from one side of the airport to the other. I remember that. And I mean, this was moving. This wasn't a vacation. So we had like what we could take in suitcases, and we were hauling. And I remember grabbing it and like tearing my fingernail off and going,
"Oh,
you're just gonna have to go
God,
with it, girl."
Painful.
And that was it. That cured me of any kind of anything girly was out for me.
Exactly.
Ever since that time, and and that hurts. That's all I can say. And yep, cocktails on a plane did not occur because apparently I was too young in this country, and I was used to a country that you could have wine or a cocktail or it was legal, but apparently not in this country when I arrived here. I was like, hello, thank you very much. That was not nice.
It was the international date line that got you.
Yeah. And then I got to sit next to a lady with a little screaming kid. That was a great flight.
Oh, the worst.
Dr. Jackie, how do you travel? Do you travel light or do you take care of your nails?
No, I'm an extremely light packer because I've had to deal with situations where you're traveling. And I mean, when I travel, I'll visit multiple cities at in the same travel itinerary. So you're carrying your bags, on the train stations, and you're walking, you're carrying in a lot of places. A lot of these places don't have they don't have elevators, they don't have escalators. So you're walking up and down stairs and you're trying to catch the train. So I mean, I've learned over the years, you just never know, if the country you're going to will accommodate you or your large suitcases. So you just have to travel light. I remember that our trip to Santorini, we had to come down 100 steps to get to our hotel. Our hotel was on the hillside, and you had to come down 100 steps with your luggage, and then you had to walk upstairs to your room because they did not have elevators there. So, I mean, I can remember going to where was it, Egypt, where we just walked with our suitcases, just trying to get to our hotel. So I've been through this.
Haven't you heard of camel?
Been there, done that. I know. Yeah, we rode a camel, but been there, done that. I know how to pack now, so it's just not an issue. I'm always ready to carry my suitcases myself.
Yeah, that it's hard. Like our tour that we did, where we were traveling the country here for 3 years. What got to me at the end was, I mean, we gave everything away, other than our prized possessions of things. We gave everything away, went on the road, and it was going in and out of hotel rooms because it was like number one, we went in a RAV4, and her name is Mulva Cleopatra Doppelganger. But anyway, and I love her. And Mulva Cleopatra Doppelganger. It's a naming thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, we went around, and you weren't allowed to add things, and it was very difficult, especially travel writers. You get all the brochures and the books and the things, and next thing you know, you don't leave things in your car at night. And any hotel, I don't care where it is, if you leave anything in there, a jacket, anything, you're asking to get robbed. And one thing we've learned is more robberies occur in parking lots of hotels, not inside the hotel as such. And
really?
You'd have to bring in a big box of computer and phone gear for radio shows, another box of all the emergency backup supplies for computers and and a suitcase each. And then we didn't even have room for a cooler. And we were talking about that as one of the biggest mistakes, is we did not have room for a cooler. But we each had one suitcase and one carry-on, and that's what we did. And things would start to pile up, and we're like, no, we have to take it out. So sorry, hotels that got some of our stuff in your trash cans everywhere. But you learn because of going in and out of hotels, and people would give you gifts, and then you're like, thank you. I want my floor room where my car can be parked out, so I can just like push a button and it flies into the room. But that's the thing, is that I think traveling light is one of those.
Yeah.
It's the key tip. I think it's one of those things that changes your travel world, is that traveling light. It is key to your experience, because when you start having to sweat and lug, you start to go into like the negative zone just in your own psyche. Because it's true. Exactly. It's true. Have either of you both talk about cruises? What about rail travel? Is that something that either one of you are interested? Dr. Jackie, have you done any railroad trips?
No, I haven't, but there's one in South Africa. I always want to go back to South Africa. There's one in South Africa that I've heard about, and I want to do that. Yeah, exactly. And it goes for, I was told two weeks or something like that. That I want to do. But no, I've never done a rail before.
Yeah. We never did it, but we interviewed them and did stuff in the magazine over there on them. And they go up the garden route, and you look at the coast.
Yeah.
And food, you get wine. I'm into that.
Exactly.
I'm thinking
Me too.
it's a neat way of travel. Is just
Yeah.
And now they have
The
internet
problem
on
with
trains.
yeah, of course they have internet. Yeah, but you will need like at least minimum of 3 weeks vacation to do that.
Yeah.
So that's always a drawback. I can't take 3 weeks off, but but one day I will. Yeah. One day I will.
You'll do it. Deirdre, what about you? Have you done train travel?
I loved riding trains, but I really don't like sleeping in a train. And I always just feel like the train is just going to fall off one side or the other. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it, but I do like day trips. And there is a trip up in Canada that I've looked at that we've actually talked about doing, where it's my kind of travel, where you actually take the train to a city. You're going from west, like Vancouver, going to Montreal, and you take the train to a city, and then you stay in a hotel that night, and then you get back on the train, and then you go to the next city. That's my idea of rail travel.
I know which one you're talking about. The Rocky Mountaineer?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Nancy Mueller, Wonder Boomer on social media, everyone. She was on the show. She's one of our IFTWA friends that comes on.
Yes.
And she was talking about it and did an article. I think everyone, you can see it at nationalparktraveling.com. Just type in Rocky Mountaineer.
Okay, great.
And she loved it. And I mean, you're going through all the national parks. You went from Seattle. And so what's so great about that is that you get to go to the hotel, you get to eat there, learn about, the place. You can still do things in the city, but, people on the train, they're telling you the history and, the geology of the mountains. And so you're getting this information. So when you stop, you can really understand where you've been and where you are. And I think
right.
I mean, guides are crucial. I know Dr. Jackie, you always talk about, you always get a guide wherever you're going, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it makes all the
everywhere
difference.
I go.
Yeah, that's
right,
so
exactly.
smart.
Exactly.
10 points to guides and tour companies, especially ones that tailor make things. Okay, so 2 questions, and then we've got to wrap up our party and play some cheese music from France. Cheese for you both, right? So one question is, if you're going to be an expat, because a lot of people do, they go and they're going to go live somewhere for a year or maybe the rest of their lives. But if you could be an expat for a year, just to go live in a country and really soak it up, or any, specific city or region, where would it be? Let's start with you, Deirdre.
Well, I think you won't be shocked when I say France. I love France. So I would there's so many different regions. I haven't been to the Loire Valley and seen all the beautiful castles there. I really want to see the Dordogne Valley, the river area there, and see the caves. And so there's just so much to explore. I love Normandy. It's just such a beautiful country that I would probably go there. Of course, that would force me to have to take out this Rosetta Stone and be serious about learning how to speak French.
Yeah. That would be my hardest part. But that's, to me, another thing about traveling is learning a new language, and and the locals of a region will appreciate that you're trying to learn their language, and laugh at you, which is always fun.
Yes.
That's it. It's like, here I'm trying, and what do you think?
I don't let that bother me. I just let it roll off. I don't even care. It doesn't bother me at all.
No.
And if I'm really stuck, I just look for someone under 40, and most of them speak English.
Yeah, she just looks for. I like the language part of it, but I get all muddled, but it's fun. It's fun to learn for me. But
yeah.
Dr. Jackie, where are you going?
I know. I love France too. I was just thinking about it. I took French for almost 10 years in high school, and I've been to France about 4 times. The first time I went, I was very fluent. The second time, some of it was gone. The third time, I could say 1 word, 2 words. When I went 3 weeks ago, I couldn't even utter 1 word in French. So it's all. It's very sad that it's all gone. I love France. I absolutely love it. That would probably be my second, but my the number one place that I would spend 1 year is South Africa. That's just my second home. I keep telling myself, I want to get a home. I would love to have a summer house there, but it's just too far. It's like a 24-hour plane ride. But I would love to live there for 1 year and just explore the region. Maybe start out in Cape Town, go to Durban, just visit the whole country and maybe even some of the surrounding countries. That's where I would want to be.
You got to go to Majaji.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that.
So spooky.
This was one of the places that left a mark on it. Majaji forest.
Oh, really?
The Queen Majaji.
Yeah.
And it's cycad. It's a cycad forest. Cycad, like,
really?
cycad palms. Yeah. And it's all misty. And there's stories of like creepy cannibalistic kind of stories.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's cool.
I
though.
love that.
You gotta go. You gotta go, man. It's
like
really
these
cool.
little stone steps that you take down from the top of the mountain through all the trees down and down and down. Then of course you have to come back up again. It's like
no luggage.
You're walking through clouds. It's
I know.
So weird.
And then all of a sudden the sun comes out and you feel like, why was I all spooked out, man?
Yeah.
But it's
weird.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a link to that because if you go back there, I want you to go. Like, you've got to go do it.
And we never saw any.
I will definitely go.
Yeah, we were the only people.
Really?
That's weird.
Where is it close to? Is it
Natal? It's in Natal.
Okay.
The name. Well, KwaZulu, right? Isn't KwaZulu is now Natal? Yeah. I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
So the last question is road tripping. Okay, so you're going to start where you are, and you're going to go on a road trip. You can catch a plane on a road trip in a different country if you want, but road tripping. And I want to know who you're taking on that road trip with. They could be alive or passed on. And a road trip, you have to be specific. It could be someone you want to learn from, definitely someone that does not annoy you. It could just be, you could be friends, family. So you're going to go on that road trip. And so we want to know where you're going. And we also, this Nancy's thing, she wants to know road trip music. What are you listening to in the car? So let's start with you, Deirdre. Where are you starting? Because you're in Southern California. Are you in LA, San Diego?
Yeah, I'm in Southern California in Orange County. Okay. And I have a friend who I just learned that she is a historian, really, for Route 66. And she has she does a lot of fundraisers for an organization. She knows so much about it, and I've driven on some of it. But I was thinking about this when she was telling me. I thought, you'd be the perfect person to do a road trip with. And she knows so much. We would have so much fun doing that. And of course, I think we'd have a lot of bluegrass music. I think that's what we'd kind of go from country to bluegrass music and just put hats on, and would have to be a convertible for sure. I just envision a convertible and just make our way from here headed east and having a good time and eating a lot of great food.
Right on. And there is good food. And Route 66 is dear to my heart because, for many reasons, Arizona, we've done a lot of it and watched it come back to life. I mean, it really almost went dormant. But now it is up to possibly become our next unit within the National Park System as a historic trail.
Oh,
really
fabulous.
for this.
They do that.
So we're just come on, man.
Do
it. But I would love to talk to your friend who's a historian for Route 66 for sure.
Yes, I will gladly send you her email, and you can touch base with her. She's a lovely lady, and I think you'd really have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, because it's about these historic trails. It's part about how people moved and migrated, and that's how we travel a lot, is these historic routes, because you just start to understand what people, if they walked it, they rode it, they, rode a horse or, took a wagon. I mean, it's
right. Or sometimes, up near Santa Barbara, there's one route that was an old stagecoach route, which is really fun.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah, the Butterfield stage route, and then the Overland Mail route. It's fascinating to me. I love that we all have this connection of history, because I think that's the thing about travel. We understand people,
Absolutely.
So Dr. Jackie is also in Orange County, so you guys are neighbors. That's awesome.
Yes, I'm in Orange County. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, good picking of guests here today. Food and history and world travel. You can't go wrong. Where are you road tripping to, and with whom, and where?
With whom? I would go with my siblings, my sisters. I have 3 sisters, and we rarely, when we're together, we have such a good time, but we rarely have time to spend time together. So I think it would be good for us to go on a road trip. Maybe we'll go to the Grand Canyon or something like that. But we would, just some bonding time, and we always have fun when we get together. So that's who I would go with. And we'd probably be listening to 90s music because that was when we were all came of age. And just reminiscing about old times. So that's what I would do.
I can imagine a lot of laughter in that car.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
A lot of laughter. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us. Always a pleasure having you on the show. Dr. Jackie, welcome to the show. Deirdre, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Everybody, again, keep up with Deirdre. Go to her website, tasteandtravel.com. Guaranteed to make you hungry and get your, your itchy traveler foot out and make you want to go travel. Really good articles, and the photos are amazing. So again,
thank you.
tasteandtravels.com. Where's the best place for everyone to connect with you on social media, Deirdre?
Well, it's real easy because Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, it's all Taste and Travel. So real easy to find me.
I know. I follow you a lot on Twitter. I know. I have to make sure I'm connected on all of them. Also, everybody, Dr. Jackie, again, great tips on healthcare, especially for your heart. But we actually, it's very fascinating over the time we've talked with Dr. Jackie on Big Blend Radio. We end up talking about all kinds of things, of things like how diabetes connects with your heart, wine, wine,
that's right.
Exercise,
and more wine,
more wine. But then,
wine.
Yeah, but it's one little splash a day is okay. But she's really got some important information on heart health, especially for women, because women this is our deadly disease more than cancer, right, Dr. Jackie? This is our number one thing we have to really watch.
That's correct. Yes, it's the number one killer of women in the United States.
Wow. So everybody, again, this most important thing, you can go to blendradioandtv.com and listen to Dr. Jackie's interviews. She makes health fun, and also read her tips and articles. But go get her book. It's Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story. It's really cool. It's an interesting read. It will give you insight, explain things, but also give you cases of different women and what they went through. So it's more relatable to understanding all these medical terms that I can't pronounce that or anything in French. So everybody go womenandheartdiseasebook.com, and also on Amazon, you can get it there. We want to thank the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association for sponsoring our World Travel Party. We love that. And of course, we do our shows every second Friday, our Food, Wine, Travel shows with different members from the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. It's a global network of journalists like Deirdre who cover hospitality, travel, lifestyle, and also the people that promote them. So also visitor bureaus and the likes all connect. And it's all about spreading the world of travel so people have really good experiences in the world. It rocks. So go to ifwtwa.org if you're a blogger, a photographer, a writer, an author, a CVB, that's the place to go. And don't forget, Big Blend Radio airs Sunday through Friday. You can go to bigblendradio.com for the schedule, and you can listen as shows go live or on demand at any point. But Dr. Jackie, are you going to be able to say the name of the song we're going to play?
I'll try.
Okay. You're going to be better than me. Okay. This is from Wally Lauder, and you can go to wallylauder.com. He's based here in Tucson, Arizona. He likes to travel around the world. And he wrote a song about France and cheese. And so
nice.
Dr. Jackie's going to pronounce this for us. You got it?
Yeah. La vie de Salieu.
There you go, everybody. La vie de Salieu. Here it is. Enjoy. Thanks, ladies. Take care and travel safe.
Take care.
All right, take care.
In the countryside of France, on the road between Paris and Lyon, there's a town in the region of Burgundy, la région de Bourgogne. There are winding streets and lots of little shops. There always seems to be a buzz in the air. Patisseries, boulangeries, a music that you won't believe, cafes and restaurants everywhere. The town of Soya is in the heart of France, on the road between Paris and Lyon, where travelers stop to rest for a while and feel the welcome of those who make it their home. Marie-Françoise runs a little cheese shop, better known as a fromagerie. She's a woman who's the picture of the heart of France. This is what she said to me.
Si vous visitez une fromagerie, vous êtes perdu parce que nous avons tant de choix. Regardez ce fromage de chèvre. Nous avons 20 sortes différentes.
Which is to say, if you visit a cheese shop in France, you are lost because we have so many choices. Look at all this goat cheese. We have over 20 different kinds.
Le sol nourrit l'herbe, l'herbe nourrit le chèvre de la chèvre, et le fromage, puis le vin.
The soil feeds the grass feeds the goat. From the goat comes the cheese, and the cheese completes the wine. La vie de Soya et beaucoup de la France, sur la route entre Paris et Lyon, où les voyageurs s'arrêtent pour se reposer un peu, pour sentir le cœur de ceux qui l'ont fait leur maison.
Nous avons Saint-Éclair et bleu de Témignon, camembert et reblochon. Fruits de mont, raclette, roquefort et tomates de Borges, salaire, beaufort et tomes de roman.
Translation, we have a lot of cheese.
Le sol nourrit l'herbe,
Soil feeds the grass,
l'herbe nourrit le
grass
chèvre
feeds
de la
the goat,
chèvre, et le
from the goat
fromage,
comes
et
the
le
cheese,
fromage, puis le vin.
et le fromage complete le vin. In the countryside of France, on the road